Everyone. Yes, so welcome, Masters. And as you mentioned, we'll continue our topic of epigenetics. So today we will conclude. That means today is the last. So it will complete our journey in epigenetics. We will recap a little bit what we saw before, what we went through. So you can connect and then we'll continue. This is something which is, one second, let me share. Okay. So one second. Let me try again. Okay. So, Masters, we will look into in this session how it really impact our life, functioning of the body. We'll look into the biology, we'll look into the belief, and how it really impact the the whole, from the childhood all the way towards the end of our life. It is something so deep that it also explains when we talk certain things in our spirituality, whether it is meditation, whether it is emotion, visualization, affirmation, how they are all connected, why affirmation or visualization, all these things works. So they have connection to epigenetics as well, that how they are so powerful. If we understand, typically we follow those things that we understand better. And that is the whole idea, how we can use this topic for our benefit to stay healthy and happy. Dr. Bruce Lipton, he has done great work, and this is one of his book, Biology of Belief. There are other masters who have worked in this field. And now it is an area of, you can say one of, from whether quantum physics or otherwise, if we see, it's a very interesting topic. It's a very topic where different ways people are now researching. Before it used to be just straightforward thing, but now since say early 2000, so many things have been talked and discussed and discovered that now it is going in, you can say, the interaction of other part of physics or chemistry or biology, that kind of thing. One of the things which is interesting is cell. Cell is the smallest unit. As we talked in the previous session, that for sure epigenetics is above genetics. It really gives you the power which helps you in coming out of the fear that, oh, this runs in my family, so what can we do? Epigenetics says, no, you have the control. You change your thoughts, you change the environment, the result will change. Now, cell being the smallest unit, if we understand how cell function, that means we can understand how tissues functioning, because tissues are collection of cells. And then if we understand tissue, then we can understand the organ. From organ, we can understand the system. And from system, we can understand the whole body. That is the link. Now, the research shows that, okay, the cell can survive, a single cell can survive, like there are, we have life, which is only single cell, like we call bacteria, virus. There are others. Now, how the environment is impacting it. how a single cell is capable of having memory and not only having it, but passing it on to the next generation. And not only within the same body or same species, but also with different species. So when we are eating, GMO food, genetically modified food, they do interact with us and they do impact our body. We have the gut flora, different kind of microbes in our intestine, and it does impact there. Because the environment impact the health of the cell. If our environment is healthy, cells will be healthy. If environment is not good, our health will not be good. In other words, if we change the environment, we can improve our health. So if there is a sickness, there is a disease, we can influence it by changing the environment. Now, what is environment? Your thoughts, very big factor. Your lifestyle, of course, what you eat, what you drink, what you breathe, all that is also part of your environment. Now, if we really look again at a cellular level, even cell, which is the smallest unit, it has components in it. That means there are even smaller units within the cell. Like, for example, whether we talk of chromosomes, whether we talk nucleus, all those things are within a cell. Now, how does it function? There is a thin membrane, which is kind of, keeping all the things inside the cell intact, functioning, and safe. That's creating the environment for the cell within that, because it's you can say like a sealed unit. Now, is this membrane just a membrane? Or is it the brain of the cell? Now, before, this couldn't be studied well, because to study this, you need electron microscope because it is so thin. 7 millionth of a millimeter. So you can imagine how many zeros you have to put in millimeters to indicate the thickness of this membrane. So that means you have to have that equipment which can have such resolution. That's why only recently, and when I say recently means we are talking last 100 years, that we have a lot of information about all these details. So once we understand this brain part, why it is so important, because now we understand how the signaling is taking place, how message is going to each individual cell, because brain does not send signals to each individual cell. Neurons are not going to each individual cells. Then the question is how the message is still getting through. So like we talk about computer chips, nowadays we are all talking about the semiconductors, or we just call it chip. There are shortages and whatnot. Now it's a electronic, you can say, kind of device which has gates, channels. This is the technology-wise technical terms, but at least we understand chip means it kind of does multiple functions. It's a semiconductor, and it's used in different electronic things, whether computer, laptop, cell phones, even in your cars for different functioning, the AC, and moving your seats and all kinds of different things, because you can program it. Now, you have to have a source of signal for this chip. Similarly, the membrane, we can say it's very close to the functioning. You can say it is like a computer chip, because again, It is doing something what a chip does. It does the functioning of what it allows to go in, what it allows to come out, or what cannot go in or what cannot come out, just like the signals. It can handle energy because when we are talking human body, exchange of energy and information, a lot is happening through energy. We talk of frequency, vibration, same thing, it's just a way of explaining energy. So when we look at epigenetics from quantum physics perspective, like we discussed during quantum physics session, that Newtonian physics is limited, whereas quantum physics can explain all the things that Newtonian physics cannot explain. Newtonian physics limitation does not apply to quantum physics. Quantum physics really explain with respect to energy, explain the physical and the energy form of an atom or electron. So when you look at any issue that we may have, mental, emotional, physical, any disease, any illness, it starts at a cellular level. Yes. Suppose you met with an accident, right? Slip and fall, any such thing, that's a different injury. Now, if all the issues except these are happening at a cellular level, that's the starting point. That means we should understand that, because then the solution has to be at cellular level as well. Now, we can have different signaling through chemical release in the blood, like hormones. The purpose is they go and they give signals, but whether it is blood, it's a physical thing. So it is a slower motion. Signal through the nerve is much faster. But even faster signal than electric signal is the waves, electromagnetism, if we say, or the way that message is going to each and every cell. And we'll talk about this very soon. But first thing, what is very critical here when we talk about epigenetics, if we understand this, it will help in the following slides. We say, I'm having this issue, so I will take this medicine. You go to a pharmacy, you can buy. Remember, your body can produce all the chemicals that you can buy from a pharmacy. What is the difference? Suppose you have developed a rash. What we do, we say, okay, I have a rash. You go, you buy the medicine and apply on your body. What happens then? The medicine, whichever form it is, whether it's ointment, whether it is tablet, capsule, once you take, it will impact your whole body. We cannot say I'm taking this medicine, but it should go only to my left hand, but not to my right hand. It should go to my left hand, but not to my heart or lung. Once you have taken, it is, it's got to your blood, it is going in your whole body. That is one of the reasons why there is a very high number of deaths resulting from the medical treatment itself. Illnesses, which is result, that means side effect. And wrong prescription. Whereas if the body does, then body does not need to impact the whole body. When your brain is producing a particular chemical, whether it is for stress, inflammation, or whatever, it has capability of releasing it in a specific localized area. So even if the same chemical is produced, if your brain needs it, it has capability of directing it to the brain. This way, the rest of the body will not be impacted. Now, if we look at the cell, and if you look at allopathy or conventional science think that we can take a cell, we can, put everything separate like, Lego block. You have one structure, you can take each individual component apart. And if one component, like suppose you take a car to the mechanic can say, oh, within even the engine, this part has failed. What they will do, they will just replace that particular part, engine starts running, and you are happy. Whereas in the body, it's not as simple as straight line. So Newtonian physics says it's a straight line thing, A, B, C, D, E. If C is not functioning, replace C. But the quantum physics tells us it is not that simple. That's not how the body functions. We have interconnectivity. A is connected to B, but A is also connected to C, or A is also connected to D. So it's not that if B is not functioning, replace B and everything will be okay. May not. Now we understand this interaction, these different pathways. And if we understand these different pathways, then it is very clear that if you are changing one point, it will impact the other. Because problem can come from if there is a break in this communication pattern. The body is communicating, different organs, different functions are interacting on regular basis, every moment. If this communication develops a problem, then you may have a health problem. And this is an issue which is not a straight line issue, it's a complex interaction. So what happens when you take any medicine? If the medicine and this is given for treating, say, one particular protein that the body is producing, but then the drug is interacting with many other potential scenario, one or more different areas or different proteins. That is why you may have never read, but whenever you buy any medicine, just open the package. There is always a small leaflet. Generally, we never see, we just throw it away. Try to read it. Sometimes it will be scary. You will see big list of potential side effects. Why? Why there are side effects? Because this medicine will help you in fixing one issue in one part of the body, whereas once the medicine is going to all other parts of the body, it can do something else in other parts of the body. So certainly you need some relief. For example, in your left hand, you take the medicine, you get relief and you are happy, but you may not know what's happening with the same chemical in other parts of your body, which is side effect. And this is not for any one specific medicine. This is for all the any allopathic medicine you have, it will work the same way. You cannot say that, okay, I'm taking this drug, but it goes only one part of the body. Now, we also saw in quantum physics, there's possibility of constructive and destructive interference. So what does it mean? Everything is energy. It's flowing in the body. So Newtonian physics versus quantum physics. Quantum physics is all about energy. If two waves, say A and B, they are approaching, they may be in sync or they may be out of synchronization, right? So when they arrive, you can have either 1 plus 1, or you can have 1 minus 1, 0. So you can have plus 2, minus 2, or you can have 0, depending on this approach and their wave. Now, it's not always that we say Newtonian physics or allopathy is the only way. They have not used quantum physics based, this energy based thing. There are some applications actually. One such application is, before for the kidney stone, they used to do surgery and all, which is obviously, you can imagine, any surgery means some risk, some recovery time, some issue with your health potential. But then they develop the technology where they use energy. They use harmonic frequency, and they will use that. So what happens is when you introduce this harmonic frequency, the stone starts vibrating. And matching the frequency, what it does is the stone will have vibration, and then ultimately it will just kind of explode in a simple way. And then what happens? A big stone is now into very small pieces. Small pieces are easily removed without surgery. So yes, quantum physics or energy model is in use, but there are only a handful of cases. That means much less number of treatment are based on this, and still majority of treatment is pure allopathy. So you see how one can avoid a surgery by using these techniques. And you would wish there are more such treatment rather than straight away surgery or allopathy and side effects and all that thing. When the body is producing those medicine, there is no question of wrong prescription or side effect. But when someone writes, you go to a pharmacy with the doctor's prescription, somebody is dispensing the medicine, human error is possible. And as we saw in the previous slide, that is reason of one of the leading cause of death. And it's not just one country, it's all over, including North America. Now, talking of this, and when we say, we promote meditation because let the body take care of it. Avoid using chemicals, pharmacy, medicine, pills, all those things. In 1895, Dr. Palmer created the science of, now we call chiropractors. Now, it is flow of energy to the nervous system is critical to health. He understood that. He focused his study, his expertise in the vertebral column. He understood that, okay, all the nerves are they're going through our spine, and it is really critical. We are having a lot of issues because some issue in this information. This is like a super highway for brain. We talk about vagus nerve, all kinds of things are there. So he developed his skills of tuning. So he could set your spine, whatever is wrong, he can kind of optimize it, which in turn will fix the flow of information. And if information flow, nerves are doing properly, your health is improving. So what happened is, in the medical world, there was a crisis in the sense people got afraid that, oh, he's fixing without people coming to hospital. No surgery, no nothing. This is not good because it's against the business case. So not only chiropractic, but also homeopathy and such treatment, they were banned in US. In 1990, after a lengthy legal battle, the chiropractors, they won. And they won against the American Medical Association, that they were trying to destroy this profession, and now they are allowed. So you see, sometimes the business and the health, what's good for you and what good for business may not be the same thing. But if you can get healthy without getting into any surgery, hospital, this and that, I mean, what could be better than that? So your subjective experience, remember, masters, carries more power than your objective situation. In other words, we say your belief carries more power than your reality. And that's where this biology of belief comes into play. Now, your belief is your belief. Don't worry, it's right, wrong, whatever. If it is your belief, your belief. Now, don't try it out, but there is a small community in one of, like their association of one of the church in Texas, and that group, they can have poison. Nothing happens to them. It's their belief. But they get into that and then they go through all that. That's why I'm saying, please don't try just that this is my belief and have anything. No. But once you go through that process, it becomes their belief. And once it is their belief, the poison doesn't do anything to them. This is where the belief, the mind, and all this quantum world comes into play. Let's look into this power of mind we just talked about. In 1952, so we are going about 70 years back, there was a physician, Dr. Albert. He was trying to treat a young boy, teenager, of a skin infection using hypnosis. And the treatment was successful. Now, then he came to know that the boy was not suffering from just a simple skin infection, but it was a lethal genetic disorder. So this was a big news. This was considered impossible. You cannot reverse this. You can imagine. Now, the media and everybody's talking about it. People with such condition, they were forming queues in front of his office that, wow, he treated something with just mind game, if we call it. Because mind, which is just energy, and body is matter. That's why we say mind is more powerful than body, because energy is more powerful, more faster, and much more impactful than matter. Matter is slow. Now, this doctor, after having this great success, tried to help other patients, but he failed. He could not fix any other patient with a similar situation. And he was surprised, what's going on? When I could do one, why not the other? And then he realized, when he was treating first time, he thought it's a skin disorder. And he knew with his technique, he can fix. Afterwards, he was told it was a genetic disorder. Now he knows about it. So when other patients are coming, he know already they have genetic disorder. And somehow his belief that it is genetic disorder means it is not treatable. That overpowers the fact that he has already treated one person. But now because he knew he could not treat others, that means he could not improve the condition of other patients. So you see, masters, this is a very important point here. Your mind has the power. Energy is much more efficient than any chemical or mechanical way of transmitting. But our thoughts, which is part of our belief, is very important. We say, be positive. We say, think positive. We say, live in the moment. Why? If you recall, out of 4 pillars, if you have seen that session, 2 of the pillars that I highly, highly recommend anytime to everyone is forgiveness, gratitude. It's all your thoughts. It's all your beliefs, part of the belief system you're getting into. Why? Because simply thinking positive does not always lead to physical cure. We write affirmations. And people say, I've been writing affirmation for whatever time, months, year, and nothing is happening. Some person may say, I just started last month. Wow, I already got so many good results. What is the difference? The other person says, I'm also thinking positive. So you have to really get to your subconscious mind. That is so, so important. Subconscious mind is where all the habits are. It has been developed over the years. But that's where 95% of your control is. That's what is more powerful than your conscious mind. Why? All the logics, whatever you have learned, everything is there. That's where your belief system is there. And that is why in meditation, we are trying to reach subconscious mind. So when we are doing affirmation or visualization, it's not just I write whatever my affirmation is. You have to feel it. You have to visualize it. And to do all this, you have to have faith and trust that yes, it will work. So on one side, you have doubts that I don't know about affirmation. Somebody says it works. Okay, I will try for a week. If you have doubt and you are doing just because somebody says so, or you have read or heard, you will struggle. If you're doing with full faith, full trust, and you can visualize, you can imagine, now you are getting it to your subconscious mind. If you recall, when we do meditation a minute before, I highly recommend bring your affirmation in your subconscious mind. This is the reason, because it enhances the power of your meditation. It enhances the result. Along with subconscious mind, there's another word which we say when we say bring your like you are bringing your affirmation in your subconscious mind, and you have to feel the emotions considering your affirmation has come true. Why we are talking emotion? Because emotions is what conveys the message. This is the information source. This is the, you can say, the order. When body is Emotion means body is releasing some hormones, chemical which goes in the blood. It's telling you, it's giving you that feeling. So suppose with this affirmation, you know, when this happens, this will be the happiest day in your life, and you can feel that now body is releasing the chemical, giving that message without actually achieving that state. But the system doesn't know whether you're really feeling because of achievement or you are just faking it, for example. It doesn't matter. The communication goes, the cell knows, individual level. And when the individual level cell knows that this is the emotion, this is what it is, the body will produce the, the proteins accordingly. If there are issues, we call it mutations and all, it can reverse, it can change. And this is how we reverse physical, mental, emotional condition in our body. So this is the importance of these two factors when we say subconscious mind and emotions. And this is in your hand. This can produce any protein. Any protein means now we are talking epigenetics. You are going above your genetics, because genetics means my body cannot function this way, or I'll always have problem, say diabetic or heart issue. Why? Because there are certain proteins which is causing it. So if you can influence your body, which protein to produce or which not to produce, is it not magical? Is it not a superpower? And that's all we are talking about here. So you see, these are all linked. We cannot say meditation in isolation. We cannot say epigenetics in isolation. But if you understand how all this works, now you know why we are talking of affirmation, visualization, subconscious mind, emotions, all those things. Because when we have the emotion that what we want, it can override the system. It can heal the body. You got control over your destiny rather than say what's been happening in the family. Now, there's one example of, training the dogs, and the dogs will have, they will just keep coming and expecting the food, and you can see saliva in their mouth just when they have been called with the whistle. So in this experiment, what happened? So the person, the trainer, first using this, you can say, ring or for the bell or dog whistle, calling the dogs, and when the dogs comes, give them a treat. Now the dogs knows over a period of time that, okay, once we hear this whistle, I go here and my trainer will give me this treat. After a while, the trainer stopped giving them the treat. Whistle, dog comes, no treat. But because they have formed this habit unconsciously, the reflex behavior is whistle, the dog will come, and there will be saliva, means that they are looking forward to that treat, even if they did not get last 2 times. So this is how our body gets tuned when we do things over and over and over. This is what reflex behavior is based on your learning. So the way we learn is simple yet very complex. We learn from our teachers. Teachers could, like, it's just a term here, from parents, from, until the age of 7, we are learning from our environment, whether it's your sibling, your parents, or anyone. And we learn based on what we see. So sometimes our teachers are introducing a lot of things unknowingly because we are just observing. So for example, it's very common, I'm sure 99 out of 100, if you say the word snake, people will be alarmed. They will start running around. Why? Because that's how it's been introduced. There are more variety or species of snake which are harmless than the one which are harmful. Then why do we see any snake and start running? That's how it's been introduced to us. That's our perception. And we got the perception from our teachers. And this is what we mean when we say belief-controlled biology. That's your belief system now. Again, if you recall, we talked about placebo in one of the sessions and nocebo. If your placebo is that this is my lucky pen, whenever I use, I get good marks in my exam. Even if you know less about the subject, you use that pen, you are excited, you get good marks. On the contrary, you know everything about the subject, your favorite subject, but you have a pen which you feel negative about, nocebo. And you have a belief that whenever I use this pen, I get less marks. So in spite of knowing and being your best subject, because of that nocebo, that day you have that pen and you have no other pen and you get low marks. So it's all in your thought process, your belief. Because your beliefs, whatever it is, coming from your thoughts. Thoughts are coming from choice of words. Choice of words coming from your action. Action becomes your habit becomes the value, and your values become your destiny. So, if you want to change your destiny, you have to work on your belief system, because thoughts are the starting point. Whatever your thoughts are, you think negative, everything, and you will see the negativity. You think positive, you will see the positivity in your life. Because when you're positive, you won't use the negative words, mean words. You will use different words, positive, encouraging. And when you use positive words, your actions will be positive. You will be helping others, not looking how to prove others wrong. And accordingly, then your habits will be positive, your values and destiny will be positive, means you'll be a happy person. Now the question is, everyone may say, yes, that's what we want to be. So the question is how? You may say, I'm at age so-and-so. So when do I start? Is it too late? So let's look into this. This whole programming, the parental programming, when does it start? It starts even before your parent conceives you. That means before a child is born, much before even child is conceived, the story starts. So when the child is in the mother's womb, this is where a lot of things are happening. The learning, which now the research shows can impact a lot of issues later in the life. Now, talking about the programming or talking about how we get influenced by the teachers, infants can swim moments after they're born. You may have seen, whether puppies or different animals, they swim. Who teaches them how to swim? No one. We have to learn, because we as a parent, we are more afraid, oh, what if it's an infant, like how can I put him in the swimming pool or whatever? And we are afraid. So if we are afraid, they are afraid. They cannot swim, because they have acquired this fear from the parents. So as parent, you are not intending to give them this fear or negativity, but we end up doing it unintentionally, unknowingly. So as parent, we are their genetic engineer. Months before even we conceive, there are genes which are shaping our character, the genes which is resulting in who we become later in the life. That's why, masters, don't think of spirituality and all these things, as people think it is the time when you get retired. No, actually, this is a job for your parents even before they conceive you. That's why it's so important for young people to understand, so that when they get married, when they are thinking of becoming parent, they should be working in their minds and bodies before they conceive. What kind of thoughts, what kind of lifestyle, what kind of stress, all those things they have to consider in case they want a healthy baby, and not leaving things to the destiny or subjectivity. The child in the mother's womb, they are active, they are learning. It's not that they learn everything after they come out. They feel it. And that's why we say during this whole pregnancy, for both the parents, but especially to mothers, we say, oh, you should not do this, or you should not watch certain types of movies or TVs or this and that and all those kind of things. Because your energy is going to be the child's energy. What you are hearing, if you are yelling, you are screaming, don't think that they are not getting it. They are getting it too. So if you are full of negative energy, that's what they are getting. If you are full of positive energy, then that's what they are getting. Keeping that in mind, always remember, you are the genetic engineer. You are deciding their fate. You are their future before they are even conceived. So, masters, this is about epigenetics, which is really about genetics. This is, if we understand how it works, we can take care of our kids before even they are born. If we understand how it works, chances are following it is easier, because now you know the end result. So we should start with end in mind. So masters, if you have any question, please feel free to ask about today's session or epigenetics in general before we get to meditation. Or if you want to share any of your experience, please feel free to do so. This is our last session on epigenetics. So yes. Ram Krishna ji, please unmute yourself.
Sir, I think the lecture was highly interesting, extraordinarily explained. I just have one question, as absolutely not knowing anything about the subject. Is there a connection between the cells and genes? I believe there is, but I do not know what it is. Would you be able to throw some light onto it, please?
Sure, Ramakrishnaji, and I'm glad you liked it. The connection between our cells and the genes is that though the cell is the smallest unit, inside the cell is what we have pair of chromosomes. And inside these chromosomes, we have our DNA. So you have 32 pair, you have within this small cell, which you cannot even see by naked eyes, but that's where the chromosomes are. And inside each chromosome, you have your DNA. And inside each DNA is like, you have like a, recipe book. You have lots of genes and each different combination of uh, what we call, say, on and off. So in a way, imagine a gene can produce more than one different kind of protein. Since our body is made up of protein, we need protein. So for example, for a skin cell, you need a different type of protein. For eye cell, different protein, hair, different. So the recipe book is there. Which recipe to be used depending on which protein you need. So that's why you have the DNA. Not every recipe is made every time, but depending on where it is, that particular protein will be produced by the body. So this is all happening within a cell. So cell has DNA has all the genes combination, which is producing proteins. And that's why if we want to fix any physical, emotional, any issue, we say we go to genes, we fix the protein, which fix the genes, fix the cell, functioning of the cell, which is the smallest unit, your whole body is fixed.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. Jagriti ji, please feel free to unmute.
Divine morning and divine evening to all the masters. So it was a very interesting session. What my question is that now I know much about this topic. So I daily do the corrections, like the type of person I want to be. And I'm voluntarily doing it, consciously trying on myself. And I'm much successful to a large extent. But how can I uh, change my son? Like, though he's my son, he has many habits like me. But now when I have risen above my negative habits and negative thoughts, how can I change him? He's 25 years old. Though I send many YouTube videos and quotes and all that, but yet I want to wake him up to work on himself for his a better future. So how can I help him? Like, can you please give me a few tips?
Jagriti ji, you are not alone. Trust me, we all, as human, right? We have this dilemma, whether towards our kids or towards parents in their old age. Similar emotions may come. Sometime you means a person feels about the parents that, okay, you may be away from them, whatever, you want to do something for them, or you want to do for your kids. What my experience and understanding is, this is for you only. What we do is for us only. If I meditate and think person so and so get fixed, then that's a totally different topic, which is called it's a distant healing, right? There are healers who can do that, but we are not going to that side. I would say this cleansing, this spirituality is for you and you only. Having said that, if you want to influence people around you, be it your anyone, could be spouse, could be kids, parents, you can influence by education.
Right.
You may share your success story or someone else's success story. When we talk theoretically that this happens, that happens, sometimes people don't get influence so easily. But when they see within their house, oh, my mom or my brother, my sister, my parent, whatever, they getting transformed. Now the chances are very high they will come to you and say, how did you do it, mom? Or how did you do it? Whosoever is asking you that question now, it's pulling rather than pushing.
Yes.
Wait till they get pulled to you. Don't try to push. Push will only push the matter further away from you. Take it this way.
Yes, sir. Yes. And I have since many years, especially since last 2 years, I'm trying very hard to bring, though gradually, because all these things can't be taught or imparted with a great speed. So gradually, I'm trying my best, and I'm trying to show him, to change him by bringing changes in myself, like my anger level, my health, my healing ability after learning Reiki and Lama Fera Grandmaster level and all these. I have seen many changes in him also, but yet, as being a human being, we expect a lot, and I'm expecting a lot of changes in my son also. But your lectures and such many other lectures and videos are very helpful, are helping me a lot. So thank you very much, sir, for a beautiful session. Thank you.
Welcome, Jagvitji. Thanks for your feedback. Shiniji, please unmute yourself.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for the interesting topic. So, though we all know medicines have side effects, but there is an advance coming up in the medicine targeted therapy, especially for the cancer, where the monoclonal antibody or the therapy acts directly on the cell level and minimizes the side effects. That is one. And second thing is, even for the science also, what is next after epigenetics?
See, two things. First, your first question, which you're absolutely right. There are targeted therapies which work for a specific condition. So not generalized, but very specific. So if somebody having that specific issue may get tremendous benefit by those targeted ones, which are much better than the generic one, for sure. And sometime under certain situation, like you talk about cancer, then yes, if you have to go through the treatment, you have to go through the treatment. That's given. The idea is, how can we avoid having it at first place? And that is where, when we talk about, parents being aware before even conceiving the child, if we can do that, then the child may never come to a stage where you have life-threatening or critical situation. So that is the first message. If we can, the more we can pass it on to our kids. But yes, if you're starting now, I'm 50, whatever, then obviously that stage has crossed. So now I'll do whatever best possible. So your second question, which is towards like, what is next? See, the power that we have understood is yet not fully understood. And what I mean by that is, we know medicine, we know meditation both. We know what medicines can or cannot do, means how far they can help us. And we know meditation, there is no limit. The question is, if we take 100 people and teach them or motivate or whichever way, the result of all the 100 people will be different. Everyone is doing the meditation, maybe from learning from the same master, maybe in the same session. The effect is different. 100 may have 100 different types of, or 0 to 100 range, they may have a score all over the place. So the question is, why this is different? What can we do to streamline this? Is there a way? And without making it too complex, because this is where my interest also comes, that like in one of the slides we said there is never a single point thing that okay, this B is wrong, change new B, everything is fixed. There is an interaction. This is the quantum approach. When you have different interaction, now the question is, whatever situation I'm in, is it because just I ate something wrong, my environment, thoughts, whatever, and or how much of it is my karmas, how much of it is my previous life, how much of it is my, whether I say soul plan, purpose of life. So where do I start? Where do I end? End part, of course, everybody looks for physical wellness and all those things. But what is the interaction? I'm sure everybody must have heard the name karma, but it is as complex as anything. If you ask 100 people, will give you 100 different answers. And to me, this understanding is what should be the next, if we can demystify, we can really heal and live happily. Because if it is part of soul plan, because there are many things that personally I've overcome. And first thing is to understand, the moment you say, okay, this is my soul plan, what I have to improve. When you overcome those things, the immense pleasure that you get, you cannot explain, which has nothing to do with the materialistic world, not in terms of finance or your any other way, recognition or this and that we typically look in our career, profession, and other things. But how to explain to others how it feels? What is the value for it? Like the previous master was asking, how do I convince my son? Once you experience, then you don't need any further kind of conviction. To me, this is the most critical, that if we understand what meditation does, but how can we keep enhancing its power, making it that anyone can do, everyone can do, and get the results in not that instant, but still in a time that people get more and more drawn towards it.
Thank you, sir. So what is the next topic, sir?
Shuneji, now you have put me on the spot, but I'm trying. This is, I just started something new. It's called the Silva method. This is one thing I'm trying to learn, and we will still have not formed up, but certainly whatever makes sense, we will go ahead with that in those terms. But the reason I like that is, again, in terms of how we can get into, whether we say from beta to delta or beta to theta or alpha levels easily and quickly. If we can experience, if we can get there, then I think people will have better, you can say, connectivity to meditation. So that's probably would be our next, but very soon by weekend we will decide for the next one.
Thank you, sir. That would be very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, Shiniji. Vindhya ji, please, you may unmute yourself.
Hello, Gaurav sir. Thank you. As usual, very informative sessions. I heard you before also on this, and I also read that Biology of Belief. These are, very deep and complicated subjects for me to understand, though I'm getting the gist of it. I do understand, or at least I feel I'm trying to convince myself it's not because of genetics, and that it is because the environment. But when we see, physically see, like what my parents have, and I'm seeing them in me, like simple examples, maybe varicose veins, I see in my mom, in me, and some other small allergies or some some small growth on the skin and this. I see very similar patterns. It is, if I didn't know about this, it would be easy saying, oh, it is genetics, and then I just accept and then start treating it. But now I know it's not just genetics. So I'm trying to understand, is it that I'm having the same environment that they had? Maybe we are having the same emotional reactions. And I know environment is not just physical, because I didn't grow up in the same environment as them. Now I've changed completely. So maybe the food habits, maybe the thoughts, the emotion. So it's hard to identify because of what it is. So how do I change those? Where do I go? And because I'm still seeing the same kind of, uh, symptoms on my body as them in some of the things. Do you understand what I'm trying to ask?
Absolutely, Vindhyaji, it's a great question. And a lot of masters may connect to that because it is, I won't say very common, but it's still common in the sense, uh, like, we see ourselves in kids. Similarly, we see, oh, my parents had this and now I have this, whether it's just a matter of habit, whether it's some physical, emotional condition. To me, the starting point should be way of thinking. Again, it's related to thought process, but try to see if you're connecting whether to mom, dad, or someone. That person's thought process and my thought process, where are the similarities? What is it that we both have? Whether it is overthinking, whether it is this or that, it doesn't matter how small or how big, and try to identify, is there some similarities? It could be just a matter of habit. It's a matter of the way you think, the way you process things, any of those things. Second, once you have this identified, because there should be somewhere connectivity kind of thing. Second, you can see that what did that condition do to that person. Say, if you say, okay, my mom had it and now I have it. What happened to her when she had that condition, whatever that may be? Did she go through certain learning, certain, things in the life because of that event or that situation? And if you are having similar symptoms or condition, is life teaching you similar, whatever, if you can connect that way? So there are two things. One, the thoughts, emotion, behavior in that way. Second, learning. So whether she learned or not, that's a separate issue. But what was the life teaching you? If you can have some visibility on that, then apply that on you and see, is it the same thing it is teaching me or trying to teach me or trying to guide me? Because universe cannot talk to us in our language. Universe talks to us through the experience or the situation or the roadblocks it puts in front of us in our life. And it's never trying to hurt us. It's always trying to help us to fulfill our soul plan. But from physical world, from materialistic world, we say good or bad. Like, for example, if you met with a small accident, you will say, oh, bad thing happened. But maybe it is good on a bigger scale. Maybe universe is trying to tell you, slow down, look at this or do this, whatever.
Yeah.
So these two could be the starting point, just to understand what's happening and why.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. I think getting into the spiritual path is already helping me, but there's a long way. So thank you. Thank you.
Yes. And if this is not working, if both of the things not working, then certainly new moon, full moon, this is, you can do in any meditation, but because energies are high, then that is a very good time to leave the question with the universe. Just ask and leave it. Let the universe show you some hints, some symptoms, some guides, some symbols, or whichever way it does. Just say, I need an answer of this. This is a very good time to ask any question to the universe, full moon, new moon time.
Thank you, Gaurav sir. Beautiful explanation. Thank you.
Welcome. Namaskar, sir. I think you are on mute, sir.
Thank you. Namaste, sir. Namaste.
Namaskaram, namaskaram, sir.
Very happy to be here with you again. I missed many sessions. First, coming to the biology of belief, what you are talking, it's a wonderful thing. In my case, of course, this has changed my life and still changing. And from your sessions, in fact, though I heard about epigenetics years before, heard other people, etc., but from bottom of my heart, I am telling you to have given clarity to me and to many others. So please continue your mission. It is very much needed. Thank you for that, number one. And here I'm just remembering, you said that the environment, right, changing. Your environment, anything can be changed. Our elders, you know, how they were planning everything in life, but not knowing the word epigenetics and all these science and all that. But it was passed on from gurus, Guru Parambaras, wisdom, innocently. See, for example, fixing muhurta, we call, you know, for many things, muhurt, for housewarming or a marriage, etc. See, this are all, they say the environment, everything is vibration, actually. So there is science behind all these rituals done. That's what I'm trying to connect. There is clear connection. Everything is vibration, as you were telling, universe connection is vibration. So fixing a time. So because our mind is connected with the moon and water because body is water. So everything, they see particular muhurta, particular day, particular time for anything and everything. When you do, the result is wonderful. So today people think, oh, what is there? So even marriage is fixed in our system, but the physical intercourse is fixed on another day, may not be same day, what we call a Shanti Muhurta. So why? So all these were taken scientifically by our elders, actually, but we never believed it. They were not explaining, they never knew, but they were following from their parents like that. But see how wonderful it is. So now this is being proved by people like you, spreading it, and we are understanding. That's the only thing. That's why I want to tell other people, youngsters, first have belief in yourself and believe in all these things. Your elders, try, give a try at least, then see the difference. And one just example also, from Chinmaya Mission Brahmananda's discourse, one lady brought a child of maybe hardly 2 years, just started speaking, that's all. She requested Swamiji to chant Vishnu Sahasranama one line. He asked why openly, no, please, please, she requested. He just started chanting one line. This child started, continued. From where he learned? It was learned in the womb itself. Right. So this can happen. So what you are telling, I'm just complimenting. It is happening. I have seen it is happening. So please believe in this. Then you get definitely the right result. We can modify our future by changing our belief system. It is absolutely wonderful. It is happening. See, this called even Abhimanyu effect. You would have heard Abhimanyu's story, you know, Chakravyuha. He learned from his mother, but he did not learn how to come out. He learned how to go in. That's why he was taught. That's what he said. Krishna was talking about. So all this can happen. So change your belief, as we said, yes, change your future, change your destiny. I always remember Swami Vivekananda, you create your destiny. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I am also happy Srinigaro asked you what next. And I just heard you what you are going to. In fact, I am also learning that through others little bit, and I'm experimenting. Wonderful one. I'm looking forward for Silva Methods. It's also another wonderful method we can adopt. Thank you, Poliwal.
Thank you very much, Parmeshwaran sir. So nice, very well. आपके जो the example that you gave, absolutely, that on, and absolutely right. Our Vedas, our all literature, everything is so scientific, but unfortunately, we got into this Western mindset that show me where it is written, show me the thesis or proof, whereas thousands of years ago, they had by the word of mouth, by gurukuls, this traditions were continued, and we just learning now that how good they were, and now we are coming back.
True.
So that's really wonderful, and the more the young people can understand this, the better it will be. So that's really great that at least it is happening, and thanks to the digital world, it is happening it more efficiently than before.
That's why we are able to interact now, but far away from the two different continents, and we are able to interact. It's a wonderful. I always thank the COVID itself.
Exactly. There's
For
always
me, otherwise technology was zero.
absolutely. We all learned, and we learned very fast. Perfect. So, thank you, sir. Now, I think we'll do some meditation, though 12 minutes, but so masters, let's get into meditation. So we'll close our eyes. First, let's do 7 cycles of slow breathing. So slow exhale and slow inhale 1 cycle. Let's do 7 cycles. It will slow down your brain waves and help us in getting into meditation. As slow as comfortable to you. Slow exhale, slow inhale. Slow exhale, slow inhale. Okay, masters. Start breathing normally now. And let's relax our body. So relax your face. Relax your neck, your shoulders. Keep your spine straight, but fully relaxed. Relax your hands and legs and keep them in cross posture. So masters, now your mind is relaxed and your body is relaxed. For 1 minute, feel as if your affirmations have come true. Feel the emotions, what you would feel when your affirmation has come true, whether it is joy, happiness, love, abundance, whatever based on your affirmation, feel the emotion. Next 1 minute, just feel it. Okay, masters, let's start observing our breath as we inhale, as we exhale. No more thoughts, no emotions, no feelings. We will observe our breath, look inwards, connect to yourself, connect to your soul. And during meditation, if you realize you are stuck with a thought, don't worry, don't fight with it. Just come out of it and start observing your breath again. With relaxed body and relaxed mind, your affirmation already in your subconscious mind. Enjoy this blissful time looking inward, connecting to yourself, connected to your soul through your breath. With every inhale and every exhale.
Just because you drive, let's say a Ferrari or a Porsche, that doesn't
Masters, let's rub our palms together. Place the fingers on your eyes for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Slowly, very slowly, take the fingers off and open your eyes. And come to your normal environment. Come to your normal self.